translation of the Urdu version I provided. Welcome, brave souls, to the Wubyar story series. I am Shariq Mehmood Khan, your guide through the corridors of history where the echoes of real heroes still resound. Here we tell the legendary tales of warriors, revolutionaries, and forgotten soldiers from every corner of the world. Those who faced impossible odds and etched their names upon the fabric of time. Their courage, their sacrifices, their indomitable spirit, you'll find it all right here. And today's tale is one that changed the course of time. Let's begin. Part 1, the Berber general from North Africa, the rise of Tariq Bin Zyad. In the early 8th century, the Islamic world was expanding rapidly under the Umayyad Caliphate. North Africa, known then as Ifriqiya, had recently come under Muslim rule. From this land rose a brave, intelligent and loyal Berber general, Tariq ibn Zyad. He quickly earned the trust of the governor of Ifriqiya, Musa ibn Nusayr, who appointed Tariq as the governor of Tangier, a vital coastal city near the Strait of Gibraltar, right at the gates of Europe. Meanwhile, the Visigothic kingdom of Spain was falling into chaos. After King Witiza's death, a fierce power struggle began. King Roderick claimed the throne but faced strong opposition from within the nobility. One of his rivals was Count Julian, the governor of Ceuta in North Africa. Julian sought help from the Muslims to overthrow Roderick. In return, he offered ships, supplies, and crucial intelligence. Musa ibn Nusayr, after receiving permission from the Caliph in Damascus, allowed Tariq ibn Zyad to lead a small military expedition into Spain. In April 711 AD, Tariq gathered around 7,000 Berber soldiers, many of them recent converts to Islam, and crossed the perilous sea. They landed at a massive rock which would later bear his name, Jabal al-Tariq, or Mountain of Tariq, known today as Gibraltar. This was more than just a landing. It was the moment that would forever change the history of Europe. Though in a foreign land and vastly outnumbered, Tariq's resolve never faltered. His leadership would soon be tested and remembered for centuries to come. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, comment your thoughts, and share this video for more epic tales from history, only on YBR, The Sword and the Story. Part 2, the Battle of Guadalete and the Fall of Roderick. When Tariq ibn Zyad landed at Gibraltar, he wasted no time in organising his army. He seized key positions and began advancing northward. His scouts reported that King Roderick was assembling a massive Visigothic force to confront the Muslims. Knowing his own army was much smaller, Tariq urgently sent word to Musa ibn Nusayr for reinforcements. Musa responded by dispatching an additional 5,000 troops. Now, Tariq commanded a force of around 12,000, while Roderick's army reportedly numbered over 30,000. The decisive battle took place in July 711 AD near the Guadalete River. Roderick, confident in his numerical superiority and bolstered by war elephants and heavy cavalry, underestimated the discipline and tactical brilliance of the Muslim army. Tariq, a master of psychological warfare and battlefield strategy, positioned his troops to exploit weaknesses in the Visigothic lines. According to a widely told account, Tariq delivered a fiery speech to his soldiers. "The enemy is before you, the sea behind you. There is no option but victory or death." This moment became legendary. Whether he actually burned his ships or not is debated by historians, but the message was unmistakable. There was no turning back. The Battle of Guadalete raged for several days. Tariq's agile cavalry and expert archers tore through the heavier Visigothic formations. Most significantly, betrayal within Roderick's own camp, likely from nobles still loyal to the previous King Witiza, proved decisive. Roderick was either slain on the battlefield or drowned while fleeing. His body was never found and his final fate remains a mystery. With Roderick's fall, the backbone of the Visigothic kingdom was shattered. One by one, cities began surrendering, paving the way for Tariq's deeper advance into Spain. This battle wasn't just a military victory, it was the opening chapter of centuries-long Muslim presence in Iberia. What do you think gave Tariq the edge against such overwhelming odds? Tell us in the comments below, we're excited to hear your thoughts. Tariq's advance into the heart of Spain. Part 3. March to Toledo. Tariq's advance into the heart of Spain. With King Roderick defeated and the Visigothic army shattered at Guadalete, Tariq ibn Zyad pressed forward. The path to the heart of Spain was now open. As news of the Muslim victory spread, fear gripped the remaining Visigothic strongholds. Many cities chose to surrender rather than face battle. Tariq understood the power of momentum. He capitalized on the psychological impact of his victory and began a swift campaign through southern Spain. Major towns like Esilla and Cordoba fell into Muslim hands with minimal resistance. His troops remained disciplined, focused, and guided by a clear vision: consolidate control and secure the heartland. By late 711 or early 712 AD, Tariq set his sights on the capital, Toledo. Toledo, once the political centre of the Visigothic kingdom, had already been weakened by civil strife and the loss of its king. As Tariq approached, the city was gripped by panic. Its nobles, realizing the futility of resistance, chose diplomacy over destruction. Toledo surrendered without a battle, marking one of the most bloodless transitions of power in early Islamic conquests. Upon entering Toledo, Tariq and his generals encountered vast riches, palaces, gold, royal archives. But instead of plundering, Tariq focused on administration. He left a garrison to maintain order and continued pushing northward, determined to expand Muslim influence across the peninsula. Meanwhile, his success began to worry Musa ibn Nusayr. Fearful that Tariq's growing fame might eclipse his own, Musa sought and received permission from the Caliph to join the campaign. In 712 AD, Musa crossed into Spain with a larger army and linked up with Tariq near Toledo. Though there was tension between them, the combined Muslim forces continued to expand their rule across the peninsula. Tariq's advance into Toledo wasn't just a military achievement, it marked the symbolic collapse of the Visigothic kingdom and the rise of Al-Andalus, a new chapter in European history.
Inspired by Tariq's incredible journey?
Share this story with your friends and family. Let the legacy of this fearless general live on. Triumph. Part 4, Musa joins Tariq, unity, tension and triumph. By 712 AD, Tariq ibn Ziyad's incredible victories had made headlines across the Islamic world. His swift conquest of southern Spain, including the capital Toledo, was unparalleled. But his growing fame stirred concern in Musa ibn Nusayr, the Umayyad governor of North Africa and Tariq's superior. Fearing that the Caliph might reward Tariq alone, Musa sought and received permission to join the campaign himself. With an army estimated at 18,000 men, he landed in Spain and began capturing key cities in the northeast: Seville, Merida, and Saragossa. His march was steady but cautious, unlike Tariq's rapid and daring strikes. Eventually, the two generals met near Toledo. Though both shared the vision of a fully conquered Iberian peninsula, tension was undeniable. Musa reportedly chastised Tariq for acting without his approval and possibly even relieved him of command temporarily. However, historical sources vary. Some suggest the Caliph later ordered both men to reconcile and continue the campaign together. Despite personal friction, the combined forces pushed north, bringing most of the Visigothic realm under Muslim control. The conquest was not just territorial, it was transformational. The Muslims implemented new systems of governance, introduced religious tolerance under the dhimmi system, and began shaping what would become Al-Andalus, a diverse and flourishing civilization. In 714 AD, Caliph al-Walid I summoned both generals to Damascus to report their success. With heavy hearts, Musa and Tariq left Spain, never to return. Their mission had changed the course of European history, but their personal journeys were marked by politics, jealousy, and uncertainty. Though their legacy in Al-Andalus endured for centuries, Tariq ibn Zyad faded into obscurity after his return to the Umayyad court. Some say he was sidelined, others believe he lived the rest of his life in quiet reflection. Yet, his name remains etched in the Rock of Gibraltar, a lasting monument to his courage and brilliance. Want to hear more epic tales of forgotten warriors and game-changing battles? Hit that subscribe button and never miss an episode. Part 5. The Legacy of Tariq ibn Zyad, the man who changed the course of history. Though Tariq ibn Zyad returned to Damascus in 714 AD, his name continued to echo through the lands he once marched upon. His military genius not only brought down the once mighty Visigothic kingdom, but also laid the foundations for Al-Andalus, a Muslim civilization that would thrive in Spain for nearly 8 centuries. However, history often treats its greatest heroes with bitter irony. After his return, the historical record grows faint. Some historians suggest he was sidelined by political rivals, especially Musa ibn Nusayr, whom there's a threat. Others claim he lived in obscurity, perhaps even in poverty, despite his unmatched achievements. Whatever his final days were like, his legacy was profound and everlasting. Tariq's conquests reshaped the map of Europe. Under Muslim rule, Al-Andalus became a hub of knowledge, art, philosophy, and religious tolerance. Cities like Cordoba, Granada, and Seville became centers of learning and culture, far ahead of much of medieval Europe. The light of knowledge that shone in Al-Andalus would later help illuminate the path to the European Renaissance. And it all began with a fearless general who crossed the sea with a small army, faced overwhelming odds, and changed the fate of a continent. Today, Tariq ibn Zyad is remembered not just for his victories, but for his courage, foresight, and unwavering determination. The Rock of Gibraltar, Jabal Tariq, still stands as a silent yet magnificent monument to his bravery. So whenever you hear about the glories of Al-Andalus, remember the man who sparked it all. If you want to hear powerful, real stories like this every night, except Sundays at midnight, then do it all. Like, comment, share, subscribe. And don't forget to hit the bell icon to get notified about the next legendary tale.